Fair use allows to distribute, reproduce, and show clips for criticism, commenting, reporting, teaching, and research of copyrighted material without authorization of the copyright.
Let us not glide through this world and then slip quietly into heaven without having blown the trumpet loud and long for our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Let us see to it that the devil will hold a thanksgiving service in hell when he gets the news of our departure from the battlefield. Brethren, the devil will try and put us to sleep.
Hey brothers and sisters, it's Jared. I wanted to make this video for a while now on the satanic hand sign, the horns of Baphomet, whatever you call them. I know a lot of people are like, well, listen dude, that's not a satanic hand sign, it means rock and roll, it means the long horns, whatever meaning from our culture that you've accepted this sign to have. You cannot ignore the fact that it has satanic roots, and that, let's think about this guys, Satan is the father of all lies. So if he wants the whole world to be throwing around his hand sign and grieving the heart of God, what's the best way to do that? Lie about it. Tell them it means anything but what it really means, so that people will unwittingly be supporting the devil and not even knowing it. I mean, I want you guys to really think about this. Whenever somebody's throwing up that hand sign, do you think they're thinking about the bloodshed of Jesus Christ and what God's will is for their life? No. It's a satanic hand sign. Whenever you're throwing that up, you're either idolizing something, or you just have an aggressive spirit, or I don't know what's going on. But it's not the Jesus Christ mindset. It's not the mindset of a follower of Christ. So we're going to show you right here what the Church of Satan says about this. This is an interview with Anton LaVey, and this is his description of the hand sign.
Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
The sign of the curse?
Completely different.
How does it go?
No, not at you people out there in the audience, but this is the difference.
Aim it toward Red China, would you?
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended.
So that's the sign of the horn, and then what happens? Is that it?
Well, the other ones too.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
The other ones, one of them's the pox sign, that's three fingers extended.
A pox on you?
A pox on you. During the Middle Ages, this was
yes.
But
You're
originally,
a bad cat.
Well, you have to be bad to be good.
Alright, so that's the official meaning behind the sign from the head of the Church of Satan. Now you may say, well, it doesn't mean that to me, I just like throwing it up. Listen, do you really want to be throwing up symbols that the Church of Satan associates with? Is that what you want to be doing? We always have to remember this, guys. Satan is a liar. He manipulates a society, he manipulates your mind, and he tries to pawn himself off as something good. And as far as this means rock and roll, let's get over that, guys. It does not mean rock and roll. All the rappers are throwing it up. We have politicians throwing it up. Right here we have Barack Obama throwing it up at a graduation. This clip was brought to my attention by Russian Vid.
And the signal will be 1, 2, 3, zot, zot, zot. We need to shake the rafters on this one. So 1, 2, 3, zot, zot, zot. All right. We need to shake the rafters on this one. So 1, 2, 3, zot, zot, zot.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended.
Now I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say that he did not mean rock on. And you may say, well, he was supporting that school. Listen, guys, we have to make up our mind. The Bible says that double-minded people are unstable in all of their ways. Does it mean rock and roll? Does it mean I love you? Does it mean support this school? We know that the Church of Satan uses it as their symbol. So I'm going to ask you guys, is there a chance that this world that our Lord told us not to love could be lying to us? Is there a chance that they could be trying to grieve the heart of God by getting all of his creation to support their damnation? We're going to look here, we're going to go to Lyndon Boyd Johnson's funeral, and they're doing the same exact hand sign while he's being buried. And then to Nelson Mandela's funeral, and the interpreter, that fake interpreter that everyone was talking about, this is from Round Saturn's Eyes channel, he's doing the same exact thing, sending the subliminal for supporting Satan. Now, it's no surprise that this was going on at Nelson Mandela's funeral. During his life, he promoted the Mark of the Beast with his 4-6-6-6-4 campaign, the 2 4s being the 2 pillars on either side, and the 666 being the Mark of the Beast. They were promoting this campaign as something good, once again to reinforce the Mark of the Beast as something good in your head. And people wore it on their hands, they put it on their forehead. Hollywood was big in supporting this. But another thing I want to point out to you guys is this isn't just Illuminati that are doing this. People aren't always just told to do this. I understand it's a beast consciousness. It's when there's 2 spirits. There's the spirit of Christ and there's the spirit of Antichrist. And when you're not walking in the spirit of Christ, you begin to move in the spirit of Antichrist. So you begin to see people throwing up these hand signs. You begin to see people acting in these certain ways. One notable example of this is MS-13. Okay, let's look at these guys. They are not Illuminati, okay? They are not a part of any of these higher occultic, satanic groups that are working to dominate the world. But they still have the same Antichrist spirit in them. So you're going to see that they're throwing up the hand signs. They move in the same sort of fashion. They're controlled by a spirit that they don't even understand. It's a spirit of wrath, murder, violence, and it shows itself in them, and it shows their affiliation by having them display it in their hand signs, in their gestures, in their name, MS-13, in reference to the 13th pillar from the Tree of Life. They also have the same pyramid symbolism. I hope that seeing all this now puts this into perspective. When you see the Church of Satan throwing up this symbol, violent gangs throwing up this symbol, and then you see shows that are geared towards your kids, cartoons using the same symbolism, that it's indoctrinating them at a young age to associate these signs with a good thing. You'll see Spider-Man, Billy and Mandy, all sorts of cartoons. This new one on Disney, Wander Over Yonder, uses the same symbolism for their devil character. Guys, this is how they are getting it to us, and they'll cover it up and say it's whatever is convenient, but the truth is that it is a symbol of the Satanic Church. I know a lot of you already know about this, a lot of you just know the Satanic symbolism, but this is a resource to inform people, show people. This is not just crazy people thinking it's the sign of the devil. This is really taking over our society. And our culture is a satanic culture. We gotta understand that. The world is not our friend. I know it's in the church right now that we can be friends with the world, but we can't. We really cannot, because what they are doing is they are ushering in the system that the Antichrist will reign in. And if we're comfortable in that system, we'll be comfortable with the Antichrist. That's basically what it comes down to. Friendship with the world is enmity with God. That is what the Word says. And that is what we must live by as followers of Christ. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your support. We must prepare our hearts. The days are growing dark. I have a video on my channel called Defeating the Antichrist for those who want to live for God in this wicked world.
The church in America is going to suffer so terribly. And we laugh now, but they will come after us. They will come after our children. They will close the net around us while we are playing soccer mom and soccer dad. While we are arguing over so many little things and mesmerized by so many trinkets, the net even now is closing around you and your children and your grandchildren, and it does not cause you to fear. You will be isolated from society, as has already happened. Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. We will be called things that we're not and persecuted not for being followers of Christ, but for being radical fundamentalists who do not know the true way of Christ, which of course is love and tolerance. You'll go down as the greatest bigots and haters of mankind in history. They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them. They got them through the public schools and indoctrination, and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord. It's because you fed them right into the devil's mouth. So little by little the net is closing around, and then it's not little by little. Look how fast things are going downhill just in a matter of weeks. A matter of weeks. But at the same time, know this. Persecution is always meant for evil, but God always means it for good. And is it not better to suffer in this life to have an extra weight of glory in heaven. You must settle this in your mind. This is the one thing I want to say over and over. Do not believe. Down through history, you have a wrong idea of martyrdom and persecution. You think that these men were persecuted and martyred for their sincere faith in Jesus Christ. That was the real reason, but no one heard that publicly. They were martyred, and they were persecuted as enemies of the state, as child molesters, as bigots, as narrow-minded, stupid people who had fallen for a ruse and can contribute nothing to society. Your suffering will not be noble. So your mind must be filled with the Word of God when all people persecute you and turn on you. And the Spirit of God in common grace pulls back, and you see even your children and your grandchildren tossing in the lot that you should die. This is no game. You want revival and awakening, but know this. For the most part, great awakenings have come only preceding great national catastrophes or the persecution of the church. I believe God is bringing a great awakening, but I believe that He is raising up young men who are strong in trust in the providence of God to be able to wade through the hell that's going to break loose on us. And it will be on us before we even recognize it. Unless in God's providence, He is not done. He is not done. And note, this is not silly talk. Apart from a great awakening, these things are going to come upon you. Be ready to lose your homes, your cars, and everything.